Well, hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parco. I'm here with Amy Teenmeyer. We are the hosts of. I apologize for the late start today.
Well, I heard that starting a little bit later oftentimes can be better.
All right.
And, our guest today is definitely worth the wait. So let me bring my friend Jason in.
All right, you do that.
There
Hello,
we go.
hello.
Hello. Nice flag. A
Thank
real
you.
flag.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. Yes.
I can see it waving. Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Which
So
is
we,
fine.
I'm actually hiding my cat from behind me because she has to be with me. She's my support animal. That's for sure. Yeah. My shadow.
Oh, so he must be the first cat that they got from the 22 Mohawks.
yeah, could be.
No, they had a request for a cat. It was like the first time when they're all dog people. So
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a cat person. Yep. I'm an animal person, but I like cats. Yep.
I like him. I prefer dogs.
Fair enough.
So we
All right,
always,
Amy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amy. Take over. I don't know.
all right.
Just sit back, Ed.
Whatever, all the fuss. Okay, bim and bigger. All right. So this is my friend Jason, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever met someone or met a group of people that you just kind of fall in with. And so I want to say like he's been a lifelong friend because it kind of feels like that. But we've actually just met in January-ish.
Yeah.
And so Jason, tell us about you, but first start with why what service you served it with and why you chose that service.
Cool. Quick story on that. I'm a Army infantryman. Was 4.9 Manchu, and so my dad was an Air Force guy. He was the surveillance photographer in the bottom of the B-52 when we weren't in Vietnam. And so I was going to join the Air Force with, follow his steps. And he lived in Denver. I flew over there, went through all the thing, took my ASVAB, did all my stuff, and then I was going to fly home, get my affairs in order, fly back, and then do the oath and leave for basic from there. And when I went down into here, Renton, where I live, Renton, Washington, I went down there to talk to the Air Force recruiter about a couple things. He was late, and the Army recruiter across the hall happened to graduate with my older brother, and I'll never forget his name, Van Leeuwen. And I was talking to him, waiting for the Air Force guy. He brought me over into his office, showed me a video of the infantry, and I was like, yeah, I want to go blow shit up. So I ended up joining the Army right there. My dad, at least he was happy I joined, but said I could have saved him a plane ticket, you know what I mean, over there to do everything. But the ironic part is through the ASVAB, combat operations ended up being my highest score, so it was meant to be.
There you go.
Nice.
My dad was in the Air Force. My uncle was in the Air Force. That's why I chose the Navy.
There you go. Yeah.
And then I guess you guys might know this person.
I do.
Yeah, he's watching on his 58-inch TV.
Yeah.
He must be pretty big on that TV, I'm telling you.
He had to show it. Yeah, to show it off. That's Elliot. I love him.
All right, so you picked the Army. My son's in the Army. He's an airborne medic up in Alaska, so I just always throw that out.
Oh, where at? I was in Fairbanks.
At the joint.
Wainwright.
Yeah, Anchorage. At the joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's nice to visit. It's just how do you deal with
Yeah.
that sun in the summer and that darkness in the winter?
Tin foil on the bedroom windows in the summer and loosening layers with the clothes in the winter.
Yeah, but it's like this. Oh man, it must be like early. It's midnight. What the heck?
Yeah. And the sun's still up.
Yeah,
It's different living, brother. Different.
I was there a month or so ago, and it was like I don't know how. I mean, we were there during the winter, and that just wasn't enough sunlight, and then get back, and that was like too much sunlight. So
yeah, Fairbanks is even crazier because you're up by the Arctic Circle. It was insane. Yeah, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot up there with my duty up there.
how long were you in?
I was in. So I joined 89 to 93. I was stationed in Fairbanks, Alaska. Married, kids, the normal path a lot of the soldiers take, especially up there in Alaska. It's cold. There's nothing else to do. Have kids. And I got out. Since I'm from this area, Renton, like I said, I got hired at Boeing. And I worked at Boeing until 9/11 happened. Got laid off. So I re-enlisted to go fight and get the guys that cost me my job. So, and then I did another 4-year tour in Iraq.
Same infantry and all that?
Infantry, yeah.
And how did your wife feel about this?
So my wife, she actually was the one that encouraged. She said, because I told her, I said, hey, I was good in the Army. I like to be in the infantryman, but I did it in peacetime, and these guys attacked us, and I want to go do my part. And as hard as it was for her to say yes, she pushed it actually, and supported me the whole way. Yeah.
So I guess you were in the sand box over there.
Yeah, just outside of Baghdad in the BIOP area, Baghdad International. Yeah.
All right, and then you did another 4-year tour, and you said that was enough for me.
That was enough. Yeah. Yep. Got out. I made it home alive, and so got out, and then the rest, the struggles, the normal struggles that a lot of us go through.
And did they have a robust TAPS program for you, or what did they do when you got out? Because you got out in what, 2005, 2006?
2007. Yeah. Yep. And no, I got out. I mean, I just left. Basically, I just ran away as fast as I could. You know what I mean? As soon as I got out, I just ditched. I didn't care about what I was, privy to, any benefits or anything. I was like, I did my part, and I just wanted to go restart my life and forget about what I just did, So you go into it with the gung-ho attitude, and you come home and, it's a little different,
I think back then.
Not that I regret it.
No, we didn't take it that way. Or at least I didn't. Amy might. She's always taking things differently.
Whatever.
But 05 to now is a totally different when you get out and transitioning and all that. Because when I got out, there was don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Get that out of there. Yeah. That's the old Archie Bunker statement. By the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, my dad used to say it all the time.
Yeah, and that's where I got it from. I'm not that old, but that's where I got
it. Yes.
So what did you do when you got out? Did you go back to Boeing?
When I went back to Boeing, I actually had been recalled when I was in Iraq, and when I went back, of course, your union, it stays valid because I was in combat, and went back in, lasted a few months. Rivet guns started going off, sounded just like machine guns, and I took a knee one time, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this, man. It was kind of embarrassing, but just reaction. And those butt splice rivet guns, when they're putting the fuselage parts together, it sounds just like an M60, so that affected me, and I came out, did odds and ends jobs, got into the restaurant business, that kind of stuff, and didn't let the VA help me. You know what I mean? I let myself help me, and the street help me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. When did you deal with your PTSD?
Honestly, within the last year, really,
That's normally how it happens for most people. Yep. They ignore it, right? And then finally they do something about it.
Yeah, and this has been the best year of my life since I came back from Iraq. This past year, since I finally did. I went down to Southern Oregon to a inpatient 4 months, and then came up, transferred door to door to American Lake here, just south of Seattle, and they have a PTSD program. So I did 5 full months inpatient, really focused on me. And I think my moment was when I reached the 30-day mark, which is when most treatments, in America stop now. And I realized I was really just getting started, and I had to open up some wounds that I didn't want to and deal with them to really heal them and heal myself. So that was huge, and then your last guest, Elliot, spoke about MVP. It's done wonders for me too. You know what I mean? So that's been a huge thing.
When did you finally realize you wanted to deal with it? I mean, what did it take to finally get there for you? If you don't
I'll be honest, there was some legal issues too. You know what I mean? Okay. I was at the point where the wife you had spoke of earlier, she passed away 5 years ago. So that added to my darkness. And yeah, thanks. And I didn't want to be around anymore. I was like, fuck it. I'm done. And just started doing crazy things. I didn't put the gun to my head, but I was doing stuff that I was kind of hoping it would happen. Driving the car at 150 miles an hour, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? DUIs. And finally, I was forced to either make a choice of me or it's going to end up either putting me in jail or dead. And I'm a ADHD guy. I don't do well in a small cell. You know what I mean? I need my freedom. So it kind of got my attention, and I really started focusing. And it really was the inpatient down there where I was kind of forced to do it. And, but I accepted it when I was down there. And then I let it sink in, and that's where it all started.
Well, I think it's been really crazy hearing your story, like in Elliot's. So you went through, and then you were right there when Elliot was starting, and you could speak exactly what he needed.
Yeah, it was crazy because he had just said he was going in, and I literally had just gotten out. I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months before that, a month and a half probably, and was doing that thing with the Mission Continues. And then he walks up and he just randomly said he was going in. And I just was like, hey, let me help you with this, because I know what I just got out of it. It was fresh, so it worked out well. And a friendship ensued. I mean, a tight friendship.
All right.
What would you tell people who are getting out and not dealing with their PTSD? How would you tell them to deal with it?
Yeah, well, the easy answer is just look. Well, I'll tell you this. When I was down in treatment, I had a guy say this to me, and it really stuck with me. He said, "Jason, did you win any firefights by yourself over in Iraq?" And I was like, I hate it when they say shit like that, because he's right. You know what I mean? So what makes you think you can do it by yourself here? And it just stuck with me, because we do. I mean, it takes. Dealing with yourself, all you're doing is tucking it away, because you're not talking to anybody about it. You're just tucking it away and not dealing with it. You put it under a rock and hope you don't have to turn the rock over again. But it just eats at you because it's there. And so it's not weakness asking for help, man. You know what I mean?
No, I totally understand. And a lot of vets don't want to ask for help, and they should.
No.
I mean,
Yes.
You do call for air support occasionally, and other things.
Right? That's what he meant, and it just made sense.
I know what he meant. That's what I
Yes.
say, the air support part, because
Yes, absolutely.
you always ask for help when you need it while you're in, but when you get out, you're just too tough to deal with it.
Yeah.
And we need to help our vets get through this.
And we're so quick to help others. I mean, when I was in there, other guys had come up, hey man, hey, this is what you need to do, but I wasn't going to do it. I knew what I had to do, but I wasn't going to do it for myself. So
not until afterwards, right?
Not
and then you were helping other people.
And that now, I've actually helped a couple guys like Elliot in there, and I helped a guy. His name was Russ. We'll leave his last name out, but Russ, he came to our meeting, and he was a homeless vet, and I got him into a housing area, and that I'd known about, that had helped me, and through what we do. I mean, we learn more from each other than we do the VA. And the VA's there. I got lucky. I'm in the 1% that has had good luck with the VA. Amy and I have talked about this. Nothing's perfect, but it's definitely not the VA, the Vietnam era VA. It is improving. Mental health is becoming a focus, at least. I know it takes more than a bright, shiny blue building next to the hospital that it's a mental health building. It's brand new to help us, but it's on the right path.
Well, and I think all the different modalities that are coming out, like I really appreciate how you and Elliot share what's worked for you. Whether it's group counseling or individual counseling, or in our group, he talks about what specific therapists they've seen, so that, hey, you need to get in with this therapist. And I do the same thing with mine down here. And I think that's part of normalizing mental health. And I think, so I applaud you. I think you do an excellent job of being very bold, brave, and transparent.
Thank you. Yeah, transparency is a big one. I think, Ed, and you said it, I was watching your the podcast last week with Elle. You said, it's not one size fit all. You know what I mean? But we can share what worked for us, and maybe this part of it worked for you, but then you'll pick up another part. I'm talking about another vet that might work for you, like with Russ, the house that I had stayed in when I was transitioning out, wasn't for him, but I got him into another one. It was still through the same umbrella of help. You know what I mean? So it's not one size fit all, but at least we can tell people, hey, this is what worked for me, and hope that they're willing to take it. And sometimes they don't take it right away. I mean, it took me years, for me to get my shit together.
And most vets don't deal with it for years. That's just how it works. I mean, if something, right. They hit 40 or they hit a certain thing, and they're like, I don't want to deal with this crap anymore. It's gonna, just like you said, you've had enough with what you're going to die, or you're going to be in a cell.
Absolutely.
There's got to be a way we can help. We got to get to vets earlier. We got to get to them earlier to understand that they need to deal with this. It is something that's going to eat them. And I think by having people like yourself come on and share your story and then explain what help you and help other people, it might help people understand, hey, you're not alone. We're here for you. This is what, if you want to know what to do, get in contact with us, and we'll get you in the right place.
Absolutely. And showing vulnerability, so I had another counselor down there say, vulnerability and courage are very equal, because to be courageous, you have to put yourself in a vulnerable situation. And to be courageous, you have to make yourself vulnerable, vice versa, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So those two go hand in hand, and showing that, look, that's what like the MVP is so great with us down there. I can I can really open up and talk openly and not worry about somebody looking at me sideways like, damn, you're twisted up there, bro. You know what I mean? And it's okay. And saying, this is what I went through, and this is what has helped me. And so showing vulnerability and that it's okay and you're not weak to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. And a lot of people are worried when they get out, if they go and have PTSD issues and they're dealing with them, they can't get certain jobs. And in my town, I have a sheriff who is same thing. He went, West Point, and he was over there and he comes back and he's like, no, we don't care if you have a disability, if you're disabled through the VA, it doesn't matter. And if you're dealing with PTSD, as long as you get through it, we're good with that. And so people need to understand you need to deal with this and get on the other side of it so that you can get the jobs you want and do other things you want to do. Dealing with it is not a problem. Not dealing with it is the problem.
Right. The Vietnam era guys, when they came back, and the ones even before that, it was just, suck it up and drive on, shell shock kind of stuff. You knew you were getting yourself into all those cliched, statements. Right. But now we're realizing, even with this new generation of combat soldiers that have come back, and we're realizing that, we went over to do our job and came back, and it affects us and it changes us. It's not just, suck it up and drive on. And so at least they're starting to recognize mental health, and not in the civilian world too. Mental health is starting to become a little more, open. NFL players are saying, hey, I'm going to take a step back because my mental health isn't good. And they're actually leaving their football team for a season. And that's becoming more in the forefront. So it's not as a shameful thing to say, my wound is between my ears. I'm walking and I got all my fingers and toes, but you just can't see the wound that's going on up in between my ears, and I'm pretty messed up. And so that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay. And they just need to know that it's okay to be a little screwed up, because there's help out there, and it's not going to be an overnight fix. You can't go in and have surgery, stitch it up and be good, but there's work that can be done and help them. So like I said, we're moving in the right direction. We just need to continue to show guys like me, guys like Elliot, Amy, people that have been, through stuff, and then we can say that, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I promise it's not a train coming back,
Yeah. I always liked Operation Ward 57 had a saying, for the wounded, the fight never ends.
Amen.
And I think, you want to be hopeful and stuff like that. So it's not the same fight, but I think, just making sure that we're always putting our own care up there.
Yeah. And you do feel like sometimes, I've been there, even though I've had luck with the VA, I did feel like sometimes, the Army, when you're done, all right, we're done with you. Thanks. Good luck to you. Here's the VA hospital, go get your help that you need. And nobody guides you, you know what I mean? And that's a sad thing. I know that the VA has really started focusing on peer support. I know that I've talked to a lot of people. I've been dealing with the ATC, the addiction treatment centers. I've been with with them for quite a while. And they are really focusing on peer support, because they're realizing that, some lady that went to school or some guy that went to school and has a degree, yes, they've dealt with vets, but we don't respond as well to them. Even though they're psychologists, psychiatrists, we respond much better knowing, that, Elliot was talking to me. He knew I was in combat, so he's good. I'm more apt to listen to somebody that knows where I've been. That's what a lot of us vets go through. So peer support has become a little more focused. And I think that's a big part of what the success for our vets is going to be, is peer support.
Right. And other vets going down that path and becoming those people and those counselors, so that the vets understand, hey, I've been through that. And please don't think it's wrong, but we're starting to see it in shows. There was a series on Netflix, and the guy majored PTSD, never dealt with it. And he started talking to a counselor, and the guy was like, I did tours, and I did this so I could help us. And that's right. And we're starting to see more of that, and we need to see more of that so that people understand. Because it was JFK is the one that started shutting down all the mental facilities in the United States, and it finally got finished with Reagan, and we've not dealt with mental health since then.
I agree.
I'm sorry, it's one of those days.
No worries.
Well, he's Navy has a hard time articulating this.
Here comes the
yeah. Look who's talking.
Here comes the branch jokes.
So, what are you doing now?
Actually, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to actually even go back to work. I was doing all right, but Boeing was rehiring, and I started thinking, what do I want to do? And then there's a Top Golf that just opened up. It's the first one in the state, and like I said, I have some restaurant experience. I swore I'd never get back in the restaurant business, you know what I mean? But this is a little different because it's golf. You're outside. Everyone's having a good time. Yes, it's food industry and it's service industry, but I went down there and I'm a lead down there. I told them I'm not a sit in the office making a schedule guy, and I'm done hustling tips as a server, but the lead's perfect. I'm a little ADHD, so little spurts, you know, here, deal with this person, on to the next one. It's quick. It's perfect for me. So not just a paycheck, it's the mental health of going down there. So I'm really having a good time with it.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
He hasn't let me go yet, though.
No, well, we got to get the newness over it. You know what I mean? Like, listen, everybody, it has been busy from day one. I don't know if you've ever been, if you're a golf guy at all, to Ed, but talk golf.
I gave it up. It's that whole military golf, left, right. Yeah. I mean, I played for a long time and got good. And then I'm in the mortgage industry. So there's years that you're so slammed, you just don't even focus anymore. Then you pick it up again. You're like, damn, I forgot everything. Right. Yeah. You gotta work on it again. And then,
American Lake has one of the few VA golf courses, and it's actually really nice. When you're in the treatment center there, you can go down and get a free set of golf clubs. They have a big, huge shed down there called Area 51 full of donated golf clubs and bags. You can get a full set. You can play for free while you're in the treatment center because they want you to, get out and do something, to get your mind elsewhere. The back nine was designed by Jack Nicholas and the crew. They came in and did it. So it's a really nice. It's designed for disabled vets, so it's pretty. It's great for beginners. That's what got me started. My brother also is an avid golfer. When my wife died, I moved in with him, and so. I got into golf a little bit, but I gave it up, a little while ago. Now I'm back into it with Top Golf. But
yeah, you're still young. Give it time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how young I am. I don't know. Am I older than you? I'm 53. How old are you, Ed?
I'm pretty close to that. Right there. Yeah.
Okay. He's pretty close.
Well, when you said 89 to 93, I was like, I got out in 90. So
okay.
I did 85 to 90.
Okay. Got me a few years.
And I was like, okay, I got my bachelor's and master's while I was in. I'm like, if I stay in as an officer, I have to go line, and I'm not going to go line on a ship because I got so lucky. I saw a ship, visited a friend of mine on a ship. I tell people I have no idea what to salute when you walk on the platform anymore. Right? So.
I'm an infantry guy. The only bachelor I know is the dude that isn't married. I know nothing about bachelors.
Yeah. Well, it's just, so yeah. So you're at the same time as me, but you went back in and I did not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my guys that I looked up, the whole Pat Tillman thing, he gave up millions to do what he did. I mean, I could have stayed home and I did what I did. I'm not comparing at all, but I just wanted to do my part. I mean, it's in me. You know what I mean? I'm a very patriotic guy. I got two things I'm passionate about. You know what I mean? My 49ers, I'd have that flag behind me, but I didn't want to.
Sorry.
I know. Yeah.
Right?
Don't be at all. And then
I'm not a Raider fan. I'm a Bronco fan. So it's not.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, brother. My dad lived in Denver. I have a little connection with Denver because I've been there many a time. So
I grew up in Colorado. That's why.
So. Okay. All right. Yeah. My dad lived in Aurora. So, but then the other thing is this flag right behind me. So. Very patriotic and very passionate about when I am passionate about something. I'd be it would be wrong of me not to say. I mean, when I was going through my tough time, I literally was like, I'm not going to be with anybody again. I'm okay with not finding a partner or anything like that. And I found, I didn't expect that to happen.
Okay.
I found this woman, Jill. She told me taught me it's okay. That I can keep Jessica with me, and be with, someone else too, and have that be okay, because that really killed me, man, when she died. I mean, I was already struggling, and I would literally given up. I was like, forget life. And I'm really grateful that I found somebody like her, that showed me that life can go on. And now Susie Landolfi, our clinical psychologist at the MVP, her favorite thing is you deserve it. And it's really sunk into me. And I can look in the mirror and say, you know what, I do deserve a good life. And that's what pushed me. That's why I can say this last year has been pretty effing good, man. Pretty effing good. I'm enjoying life, and I want to wake up tomorrow, which wasn't a thing for me 2 years ago. So.
Well, I'm glad you're there because we don't need to lose anybody else.
No, we don't, man. No, we don't. No.
Yeah. And the important thing about this is to share your emotions on the screen and let people know it's okay to do that and be okay and vulnerable, because the problem is we're rough, tough, and we don't have these emotions, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, and here's an example. My dad died when I was 12 of hairy cell leukemia, and it didn't bother me until I had my son. I was watching a stupid commercial on TV about how the son's calling dad on Christmas, right, or whatever, and it's like, shit, I don't have that anymore, and
Right.
and that was when I was older. So it does affect you some, eventually, and you should be okay with it. So.
Yep. Yeah, I totally get it. Yep.
Yeah. So, but talking about the Vietnam vets, they're still dealing with it. My uncle still deals with the PTSD. You can't go behind him and scare him, and he freaks out. So, yeah.
Yep.
And that's
able to suck it up, right?
Right. Yeah. And they were the one, and I know you're probably the same way. I go on my way when I see them to go over and thank them for their service, because they got spit on when they came back. And we need to be more, and we need to have more of them come on and tell their story, because they're going to be gone pretty soon.
Yep.
And I found there's a guy here in town, Modesto. He gave me his book, The Last Man Home. I got to finish reading it, and he's going to come on and talk about it. But it was same thing. That was his way of dealing with his PTSD when he was 40 years later, finally dealing with it. So.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up that thing about it, because whenever I do see a Vietnam vet, I always say I thank it for two things. For one, their service, of course. They were forced to go. We volunteered. We were volunteer. They were drafted. Majority of them. And then the second thing is, it sucked how they came home, but at least they taught society you don't have to support the war, but just support the soldier, because we're not baby killers. We're not what they said they were back then. When I was working I work at the Hard Rock Cafe for a while, I had a couple of older guys come in, and they were sailors in the Vietnam era. And then when they got out in San Diego, they went out to hail a cab. They were in uniform, and the cabs would just drive by them. And one of his buddies said, the other guys go, hey, come on. And so we went inside, changed into civilian clothes, and the first cab picked him up. And man, if that happened today, think about, you know what I mean? You wouldn't zip past a soldier or a sailor today. You know what I mean? It's just different times.
Yeah, but back in the late 80s, early 90s, San Diego wasn't the greatest for sailors either.
No.
That's the difference. Yeah. Since 9/11, we became more patriotic, and we got to keep it that way. And go ahead.
I was going to say, in other countries, it's still bad. When I was out at the AUSA convention, I sat next to, I always laugh because I always find the one Marine in the room, and it was an Italian Marine. And he literally, to this day, and say this was 2 years ago, he would change his clothes to go home because people will throw food at him in Italy because he's a Marine.
Does he eat Italian crayons?
I could have asked him that. We were in a bar. It was nice, but it's
a shame.
Crazy to me to treat people that way for any reason.
Yeah,
difference in belief.
After a while, after the Iraq War, you're Afghan. I hate to say it this way, but it's true. It was hip to love the soldier. You know what I mean? There wasn't military discounts in restaurants. Back in the Vietnam time, you wouldn't go in and go, hey, get 20% off your meal because you're in the military or a veteran or something. So, like I said, moving in the right direction at least. But it takes guys, and you guys having a podcast like this, trying to reach out to say, look, this isn't. You're not alone. That's one thing. And one thing I found with the MVP is I have people that give a shit about me. I love, going out, helping, like I said, with Russ, other people. But I got people that'll beat my door down and blow my phone up if they don't hear from me, and that really feels good that people give a fuck that I'm still here, and so I don't know if I should be dropping the F-bomb.
It's okay. It's all right. We had to put it that it was, explicit with Amy.
Fair. Yeah. We are dealing with military guys. Yeah. F-bomb comes in basic training. It's taught that way,
So, well, actually, I tell people that when I was in the hospital in the Navy, I could not. If I did, I get wrote up. And so that when they say the cuss like a sailor, it doesn't even work anymore because it doesn't.
No. Right.
It's like an army man.
Yeah.
He's still bitter. Can you tell?
Super bitter.
Yeah. Do we need to talk later, Ed, off screen?
No, I'm okay. I get past it. I cuss enough on regular stuff already.
There you go.
But yeah, that's why we named this Helping the Brave and not Helping the Heroes or helping this, because we're not heroes. We don't think of that. We're brave. Unfortunately, we run towards shit that other people run from. And not only because we're brave, not because we're a hero. And that's why I named it this way, because that's what's important. And I want people to come on here and talk more, share their stories, get more and more people like you on here to talk about it, because I really would like to get this PTSD thing behind us. I know it's going to take a while,
Absolutely,
but we need to get more people on here to let people know it's okay to deal with it. And I talked about this on the last show. I met a lady, and her nephew went back over, and he became a sniper, and he had some of the most kills, and now he's not the same guy, and he won't deal with it.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Until, like you said, 20, 30 years later.
Yeah.
When it's just Doug, eats and eats and eats at you so long that either, like you said, either give into it and say I'll help it, or you give into it and it's over. And hopefully we can help them before, that 22 a day number just is a crazy. Just to kind of fathom that is insane. You know what I mean? And so, and it's guys that, you talk to other veterans. Hey, we lost somebody in my unit. It's just suicide. I wish he would have reached out. I mean, I didn't pick up a phone when I was in those moments. You know what I mean? I'm just blessed. I don't know. I fought through why am I, been kept alive? Why am I still here? Do I deserve it? That kind of stuff. And, it's taken, I'm grateful. I survived all the crap, everything, even back here, this war. And, but I had to fight through that. And now I'm realizing that, I can share my story, and hopefully it'll touch somebody and it'll reach him, and it'll get, if one guy, decides not to kill himself tonight, because he hears me say something, then that's my life's good. You know what I mean?
Right. And what we should do is reach out to 22 people a day instead of the whole letter.
I dig that. I dig
well,
that.
we did a challenge a while back about contacting 22 people a day, and they don't all have to be veterans. They could be many different, because PTSD, I don't want to say starts in the home sometimes, but it does. Your childhood does cause a lot of issues that follow you in the military.
That's one of the things I learned. It stems from there. That's where the roots are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so just pick up the phone, call 22 people a day, or how about a week? Because sometimes people can't do that. But us reaching out to other people, because like you just said, you don't reach out. We need to reach out and see how you're doing and check in with people. We live in a world where I can talk to you where you are. I can talk to Amy where she is, and I'm in Modesto, California. We can talk to somebody on here that's in, the UK, because we've done that
Absolutely.
before. And so there's no reason that you can't get in contact with somebody. Send them a video on their phone, text it to them. How you doing? I'm just checking in on you.
It doesn't sometimes, Ed, you're right. Just a text. Hey, brother, I was just thinking about you. How you doing? And literally, he could have been in a point where he was at a low point, and just that text might stop that process. So you're right. That's a great idea. I like that.
Why don't you pick that up for me?
I like to send joke memes.
Yeah. Dad. She's a dad joke person. I am too. That's for sure.
I can see that.
Yep.
She golfs with her dad all the time.
And I'll tell you this.
Because he has a lower, because, she keep her handicapped. She got to do with elderly.
Right.
Hey, whatever works. Whatever works.
Wow.
I'm not ashamed.
You know how many times we have been paired up with another couple, and they're like, your dad is 80. I hate that he outgolfs me.
Well, the difference, it's not physical. It's all mental. That's the problem. When you get to that point, it's all mental, not physical.
So what's interesting about my dad that people don't know is he has a form of epilepsy to make his hand shake. And it's called voluntary muscle something. Him and my older brother have it. So he does not shake like all the time, but as soon as you go to engage your muscles, then they're shaking. So him golfing, he has to do so much more mental work to be able to golf. And so it's crazy that he's as good as he is with all the things that he has to overcome. But my dad, I will also say this, which I think has to do with maybe why MVP does what it does. I never heard any of my dad's stories of his military service.
Right.
I don't think my brother has ever heard any of his stories of military service. And when my dad and I started golfing, you have 4.5 hours of walking and talking. Yep. And now I know exactly, I could tell tons of his stories, and it's really cool. Like what that's done for our relationship has been amazing.
It's a social sport. That's for sure.
I
I
can't.
don't like playing with my brother. My brother's a 6 handicap.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't want to. Well, and
Points there.
I
yeah.
like I will say I like to play with guys because it makes me better. Sometimes not
So
and I don't mean all female
do you play in
golfers.
the upper tees or the same tees as them?
So I still do the forward tees. I'm waiting for me to get just a little bit better, and then my plan is to move back.
Okay. So you almost play with guys.
Oh man, I knew you were going to go there.
A long
You were going to
bit.
go there almost. So you're on the same course.
At the same time.
All right. Fuck
You're
you
in the
both.
foursome.
Yeah. But back to that whole thing. Once I started the podcast about a year ago, I ran into my stepdad at I was having breakfast. He came in there and I was telling him about the podcast and what we do. And he finally told me his story of Vietnam, what happened, and how when he came back, and then he's like, I don't want to stay here. So he went back over. He told me the whole story, what I'd never heard my whole life. And he was married to my mom for 30 some years. So what is that? And so that's why a lot of stories, these people don't want to tell their stories because they don't understand. They don't want to relive it. They have issues from it. Well, we need to help them. And that's why we're here. And please, we want you to come on, tell your story. Just, reach out to us, info@helpingthebrave, message us. I'm Ed Parco everywhere. So you can always get a hold of me. So
no story is too minimal. No story is too minimal. And there's no comparison. No story is too minimal. If you're a cook over there, if you're an infantry guy over there, you still, you were over there. And I mean, it doesn't matter how minimal your story is because, you come on and talk about it. And it's amazing what talking it out really does. I underestimated it, when I was in treatment. I underestimated it.
And please, even if you weren't over there at the time and you were dealing with some stuff, come on. Because and I'm not, because we're here for vets, period.
Yeah.
Whatever generation you are,
you said that.
Yeah, because a lot of times people think, well, I didn't go over there. I was, I got out, 2 days before the war. That was me. And it doesn't matter. Well, it does because you did other things while you're in. The reason I didn't go back in is because I was in physical therapy and I picked up all these people, Marines at the hospital, and I can't. My back won't let me do that. And so there's other stuff that I can't do. So they would disqualify me to go back, even though you want to. Right.
Yep.
So
That's
my story. I'm sticking with it.
There you go. I won't
But
question
please, if you guys, get the word out. We need more. We do this twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3:30 Pacific. We want you to come on and tell your story. Then we take one of these each week and upload it through Helping the Brave, the podcast. And then this will always be on the YouTube channel also.
Awesome.
So and the reason we only do one a week up to the podcast is so that we have enough to upload through the podcast every, and keep going in case we take a week off or something.
Heard. Yep. Makes sense.
Anything else, Jason, before we go?
Man, I appreciate you having me on. Amy, thank you. Pleasure meeting you, Ed. And I love that 22. 22 a week. Change it. 22. Just reach out to somebody and just with a quick, hey, I'm gonna commit myself to that.
Well, let's start a challenge.
My circle's pretty small, you know what I mean? But you know what? I can make it grow with the 22. So
we're just reaching out. It could be, and that's why I'm saying it could be anybody that that's having an issue. To go, do half vets and the rest people that you might want to reach out to, family members that you don't talk to anymore. Reach out to them. Anybody, and just let's call it the Helping the Brave Challenge 22. Do it a week and let us know how you're doing and how it's changed your life and how it changed other people's life.
I freaking love that. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
We appreciate it.
I love what you guys do. I love what you guys do, man.
We'll share the word, get them out. And also here, everybody, I need everybody to go to our YouTube channel, Helping the Brave, and subscribe so we can get to 100 so we can secure that, or more, we need more people to know that it's out there. So when people Google Helping the Brave, it doesn't come up, she helping and whatever. Sorry. There's something else, another podcast that's coming up, not Helping the Brave. So we need to help.
I will do my part as well.
I appreciate it. Amy, anything you want to say before we go? Okay. All right. We're out of here.
Thank you, Amy.
Right,
it was a pleasure.
So I will plug.
We were supposed to say something about her backdrop. Sorry, Amy.
No, her backdrop's great. It's great. It's better than what she had, which was people walking
Amy
by.
hates me right now. She hates me right now.
That's all right. I'll just make sure that we continually do rope pulls at MVP.
I knew it. Yep.
Yep.
You guys had to work out before and then talk, right?
Yep.
And he loves the ropes, or they love him.
Anyway, Ed, what we were talking about was.
So
All right, we were talking about anything to say before we go, not like
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
All right. My point was, Jason, thank you for coming on today. Thank you for your
Absolutely.
service.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate you. That's all I have to say.
All right,
Thanks.
Jason, thank you again for being on here, and thank you for your
Yes, sir.
service, and thank you for sharing your story. That was really great that you shared your story and got vulnerable on screen, so people know that it's okay to do that.
It is okay. Thank you, my friend. All right, guys. You have a great day.
You too, and stay there, Jason. Don't go away.
Okay.
Everybody else, thank you for watching, and if you like what we do here, follow, and please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, get us growing because we need your help.